beautiful, it's sunny, so let's get right down to it. This show can be seen on Roku and Roku Fire TV sticks, and Amazon Fire TV sticks, and on Zingo TV on Chromecast, and all smart TVs 2016 forward. Please remember to download the BarnBurner and Zingo TV apps in their respective app stores. Both are free on both iOS and Android devices. So we've got a packed show for you this week, and if you woke up in North America this morning, you certainly got quite the surprise in the NWHL. But before we go there, we're going to start with a player signing this week after it was reported by Dan Rice that the Riveters were supposedly never done. They certainly weren't close to being done, as they signed up a member of the PWHPA in the New England region. They agreed to terms with Paige Voigt, and so she joins the team on a one-year deal. So Voigt is 23 years old and is a native of St. Michael, Minnesota. She now signs on for her first pro season of pro hockey after having played again with the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association as part of the Dream Gap Tour in that training hub last year. So let's get right down to it. Voigt is a dynamic all-zone forward, as per the press release, who was among the leading scorers at Merrimack College during her collegiate career. And she led Merrimack in scoring in her freshman year in 2015-16 and was second on the team in scoring as a sophomore, 1 point behind Michaela Grant-Mentis of the Toronto Six. And in 2015, she also won a gold medal at the IIHF Under-18 World Championships with the U.S. National U18 team. So in a statement from Voigt, she said the NWHL has done an outstanding job creating a platform for younger players and continuing to advance the game. And now I am very excited to continue my playing career in the pros with a great organization like the Riveters. It's going to be a thrilling season, and I cannot wait to get on the ice with the Rivs. So over 4 seasons with Merrimack College between 2015 and 2019, the 5'7" forward from Minnesota scored 42 goals and added 34 assists for 76 points in 140 games. So Voigt also made the Hockey East All-Rookie team in 2016, and she is now the latest addition to the Riveters forward line, which already features, Madison Packer, the team captain. Alongside her, you've got Kate Leary, then you've got Rebecca Russo, who was recently re-signed, Emily Janiga, who comes from the PWHPA as a new face of the Riveters, Tatiana Shadalova, among others, signed by GM Kate Whitman-Annis and head coach Ivo Mochek. So in a statement from Ivo Mochek, he said of, where this team is at, the main goal of this offseason was to add some offensive depth. So once there was a chance to sign Paige Voigt, Kate and I did everything we could to get it done. Kate is a very strong offensive talent with international hockey experience, and she had an outstanding college career at Merrimack. She will bring exactly what the Riveters need. So the Riveters have been looking for this offensive boost for quite some time. If you're someone who is paying close attention to this organization, they've certainly done that. Yes, they've got Packer and Leary who, bring a boost to a certain degree, but this is a team where once they get going offensively, you can't stop them. But they needed, a little something extra. And so that they got through with Voigt and Janiga. Anyways, let's take a look now at Voigt's tenure she spent with Merrimack College. So in her first season, she played 34 games and scored 11 goals with 8 assists for 19 points. And that was in 2015-16. So in 2016-17, she played 36 games, scoring 15 goals and 11 assists for 26 points. In 2017-18, she played 34 games, so 5 goals and 8 assists and 13 for 13 points. And 2018-19, 36 games on which she scored 11 goals, 7 assists for 18 points. So as far as her penalty box totals go, she's not someone who spends a whole lot of time overall in the penalty box. However, she is someone who has managed to collect at least a little bit of a sitting. And so with that, 14 penalty minutes in year 1, 42, a whopping 42 in year 2, her third year, 18, and in her senior year, 28. So, she's got the ability to collect, which means that she's a little bit feisty as well. So I think she's going to bring a boost to this organization. And, I think that's going to suit this Riveters team really well. If you look at the Riveters as they are already for the upcoming season, you see that they've got a roster that, like I said, they've already got Leary, Russo, Packer. But, let's dig in a little more so you get to see where she matches in. So, as the roster continues to take shape, you'll see Rebecca Morris, Kendall Cornine, Nichelle Simon, Kaylee Hutchison, Jane Lewis, Tatiana Shadalova. Mallory Rushton, Brooke Avery, Kelly Nash. You'll see Kira Dos Arena. I think that kind of tells you how stacked that this roster really is. So, that being said, if you look at the changes in this roster, you're going to see that someone who's not playing anymore is defenseman Ashley Johnston. She was a defenseman with the team, and she will now join Ivo Mochek as an assistant coach. Then you'll see that Donna DiMartino is also gone. She's now with the PWHPA. Bulbul Carton Bay is also with the PWHPA, so will not play in this season. So, there are some obvious and significant changes, but, this is the state of the game. So, that being said, this is a very strong team, and it's going to continue to take shape. And that's just how things go. Sam Walter, I'm not 100% sure if she's re-signed. She was a strong offensive talent, so someone I expect perhaps to make her return. So, this is what it is, and the Riveters are turning out to be a very strong team offensively. So, look forward to a really exciting season there. But until then, let's kind of turn the dial a little bit. So, if you take a look at the Buffalo Buttes now, and another round of exciting news, this is an exciting time for the organization as the Buffalo Buttes finalized a sponsorship agreement with Farrell Roofing of Dunkirk, New York. So Farrell, the Buttes, and the NWHL all follow a very similar mindset when it comes to advancing women, as per the press release. At Farrell Roofing, we believe in the empowerment of women, said Lori Metz-Herman, Director of Marketing and Business Development and co-chairperson of the Upstate New York chapter of the National Women in Roofing. Anyway, she goes on to say, as the founding chapter of NWIR, we felt that sponsoring the Buttes was a perfect fit for us. We realized that the NWHL will continue to grow and thrive, and we wanted to be a part of that. So she goes on to say, not only to invest in our community, but to invest in fantastic sport that is soaring in popularity for women and girls. We are honored to partner with the NWHL and wish all the teams a safe and successful season. So the Buffalo Buttes in the past have had a sponsorship deal with Kim and Terry Pegula, therefore Pegula Sports and Entertainment, who also own the Buffalo Sabres and the Buffalo Bills of the NFL and NHL respectively. Now, in doing so, the Buffalo Buttes played at Harbor Center, which is owned by Pegula Sports and Entertainment. However, that deal fell through in 2019 due to the unstable climate of pro women's hockey. So after that kind of readjusted and, made its turn for what appears to now be the better, and we'll get into why that might be better in just a little while. They are now playing in Amherst, New York, at what they're calling Fort Butte. So this is an exciting time. This is looking to be the official long-term home of the Buffalo Buttes. They've made their home rink known as their home rink. And what's also interesting about this facility in Amherst, New York, is the fact that it also has an Olympic-sized ice sheet. And so the Buffalo Buttes, who did not use that last season, have the option this year to use it. And perhaps they'll take advantage of that, and I say that because of this. The Toronto Six, like I said on last week's show, are playing at Kenlin Ice Sports in North York, Ontario. It's home to the York Lions of the OUA. And so with that being said, the reason I bring that up is because they're going to be playing on an Olympic ice service, which again also plays home to youth sports team, men's and women's hockey teams. And so, when you look at the boost of competition, one might believe that, to enhance the competition just a little bit, that we might see that come to fruition. So, in terms of, where this makes sense going forward, this is already a strong team as it is. They take a lot of time to train and prepare and become one of the best teams. They've been on the ice, from my understanding, on Wednesdays, just to, get a feel for where they're at and for the season that is ahead. So, this is important, obviously, because, again, when you're a team who has won the Isabel Cup before, like the Buffalo Buttes have, you want every advantage in the book. And so having a primary sponsor, having an arena, having this and that, it all kind of, in the end, accumulates. So this was seen as important, and so we're gonna have to wait and see what that looks like. But for the first time since 2019, they have a sponsor to carry them. So as per the press release in the NWHL, the fourth generation family owned roofing company is among the top 5% of the safest roofing contractors in the nation. Beginning their business in 1946, Farrell had expanded their operation to 9 different offices across 4 states. So as part of their sponsorship agreement, Farrell Roofing is recognized as an official partner of the Buffalo Beauts and an official supporter of women's and girls hockey. Additionally, Farrell will receive social media promotion from the Beauts, in-game and broadcasting promotion on Twitch TV, among other assets, as part of the labeled agreement. So, in a statement from Nate Oliver, who is the general manager of the Buffalo Beauts, he said, "The Buffalo Beauts are elated to have Farrell Roofing as a sponsor for the upcoming NWHL season. Farrell's vision and their commitment to empowering women align with our own. Knowing that Buffalo is the city of good neighbors, it is even more special to have a key sponsor that is the local business that wholeheartedly believes in our WNY community, being Western New York." It rounds out in saying, "This is a fantastic day for the Beauts, and it's just the beginning of a true partnership with Farrell Roofing." So, that being said, if you'd like to learn more about Farrell Roofing, their products, and their mission, click here for a link to their official website, which you can find on the official press release at buttes.nwhl.zone. So, anyways, I'm just going to read into a little bit about their history and what they say. So you go to their website and it says Farrell Roofing, proud history, bright future. So it also says, as one of the 5% safest roofing contractors in the nation, we keep our promises to our customers, our team, and our communities. Through 4 generations of family ownership, we've expanded to 9 offices in 4 states. With our story starting in 1946 and our eyes on the next 100 years, we have a proud history and a bright future. So, this is one who is a sustainable organization as it is, or company rather, doing what they do. And they want to help to prolong the Buffalo Beauts and the pro women's game in the National Women's Hockey League. And so I think that this was a significant step forward, seeing that, again, since 2019, the Beauts have not seen that primary support. They've been under the, same sponsorships that the other now 5 teams have seen. So, this is a monumental move, and hopefully something that, again, stays as, prolonging and sustainable. Obviously, time will tell. So you can read more about them at awfarrell.com. So let's move on now, because there was some more exciting news. And we start with the National Women's Hockey League and what kind of took place on Monday evening. So that was just late last night when news broke from the New York Times that the National Women's Hockey League was looking to turn over a new leaf. And in doing so, 2 things happened. One, there was a report that they were looking to prioritize a new business model, and this would be one of independent team ownership. And then number 2, what they were looking to do is to continue to grow, but with major brands rather than, all these, first year brands looking to grow alongside the league, which the league hasn't said no to, but, they want to, at this point in the game, they want to continue to prove that they're pro. They want to grow with major brands, whether it be, TV networks or, just major sports clothing brands. They already have sponsored deals with like American Giant. You look at their rehabbing stuff with Hyper Ice, Blade Tech Hockey, Stark Hockey, just to name a few off the top of my head. Anyways, rounding that out, in essence of this deal, part of it was done because the Boston Pride are already owned by Cannon Capital and Miles Arnone. And then the Toronto Six are owned by Joanna Nielsen Boyton and her husband John from Boyton House Building, which is located in Boston, Massachusetts. Anyways, that to be said, the NWHL is seeking to secure ownership for the other 4 of its total 6 teams in the National Women's Hockey League. So I wrote about this late last night, and I think right now is a perfect moment to use this. Again, we see Tether Tuminia, who was the chairman of the Toronto Six, leave her post with the organization. She is appointed interim commissioner of the NWHL. So with that, Danny Ryland is moved into a new role as president of Women's Hockey Partners, and she will, as such, manage the Connecticut Whale, the Buffalo Buttes, the Minnesota Whitecaps, and the Metropolitan Riveters. So again, I'm just going to literally read transcripts from this story because there are so many twists and turns to understand here. And so with that being said, it's important to note that Tumminia vacated her ownership post with the Toronto Six in order to get to the next point of women's pro hockey here with the NWHL. So this decision was made as they seek a change from their current operating model to an unincorporated association, and as such they will have a 6-person board of governors with the goal in mind of ensuring alignment of interest between the league and its teams. So let's get into this. So given the new position of the league, Ryland Kearney will reportedly stay on with the league, again, that she laid the foundation for with one goal in front of her. And this is to secure those deals with respective owners, which is something that, according to the press release, we're going to hear more about, given that talks have already started. So coming weeks, coming months, to ensure the long-term sustainability and viability of the NWHL. So if done successfully, this is going to be a long-lasting impact on not only the NWHL, but, women's hockey at the pro level as well. So, given that I've already listed those teams, we're going to continue to move on. She will look to do the same that she's already done for the Pride and the Six, that with the Minnesota Whitecaps, in addition to the Whale, Riveters, and Buttes. So, as reported by Haley Salvian of The Athletic, this decision sees the league instate a model that is more aligned with how other pro leagues are operated, and this consists of the NFL, NBA, and National Hockey Leagues. For the foreseeable future, in doing so, Ryland Kearney shifts gears, named as president of the 4 hockey clubs. This decision was made on the heels of wanting to evolve the game from where it is now. Looking at the NWHL's history in prior years, the Buttes were owned by Pegula Sports and Entertainment, which owns the Sabres and Bills again. However, with the landscape of the game put into question, they relinquished control back in May of last year. So this wasn't the only team with an agreement in place with the NWHL, which was something I was going to bring up prior to this, with Farrell Roofing and the Buttes in their new sponsorship deal, but makes sense to have rather brought up here. So the New Jersey Devils of the National Hockey League had a strategic partnership, they like to call it, in place with the Riveters. However, in similar concerns to Pegulas, this partnership collapsed just 1 week after the Buttes did with Pegula Sports. So, with the league having taken a step in the right direction to grow the game since that time, they confirmed a historic moment in April with their first team established in a Canadian market. Before we get to where things stand now, however, the Boston Pride saw some growth of their own as the franchise was purchased in September of last year by Arnone and Cannon Capital. This was done by a group of investors at a Boston-based law firm, again, that being Cannon Capital, and with Arnone being a managing partner, he became primary owner of the Pride. So, as a result of that, it also saw Haley Moore repositioned on the staff as the hockey club's president. Anyways, while that marked a new beginning, the Toronto team, now known as the Six, were launched with the idea of continuing this trend, and in doing so, Tumminia joined Boynton and Digit Murphy, who is the president of the Toronto Six, in this new all-women leadership team for the Toronto-based organization. So obviously, before these new changes were made possible, the NWHL was led by an investor group who, as part of their guidance, were responsible for 4 teams, those being the original 4. And that's where Tyler Tumminia steps in, using her experience to maintain the league's longevity. So for context, Tumminia has a history in sports, having run minor league baseball teams in various positions. Not only that, but she took on a pair of roles that focused on both marketing as well as sponsorship. So with a resume like that in the fold, Tumminia becomes an ideal candidate to step in and guide the league upon a venture of change. So, speaking of the league's advancement and what her role does to keep women's hockey viable, Tumminia said Monday in a statement, "This is a time of opportunity and transformation for the NWHL, and the changes we are making across the league will fortify a foundation for continued success well into the future." So, if you've been following the long storied saga of women's pro hockey in the States and in Canada, you've probably seen the stories which label Ryland as a controversial figure holding women's hockey back. Now, And keeping that in mind, one could quickly jump to that conclusion for that change. However, it certainly goes much deeper than that, as Ryland changes roles with her eyes now on the prize, a new prize. However, while Ryland brought the pro game to America, the league's founder pushed the boundaries for every inch of respect that she earned. She did so at a time when the sport was continuing to grow in the CWHL, based out of Markham, Ontario, and formerly Brampton, Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, just to name a few. Anyways, while pro hockey at the time was not paying, that's where the former Harvard captain in Ryland was rather quick to dive in part to help change that reality. So she did so as the league started play, but with a rocky start, something she's worked to fix since. Many would agree that she has, and as it became a stepping stone for the progress, that's been made since. Anyways, so Berkman notes in the New York Times, the league ran into roadblocks in year 2 as they struggled financially, which greatly affected the players. So not only did it mean cuts to salaries, but also made for lawsuits now a distant memory. So, you get that this was at a time when at a time of development as the foundation was growing for pro standards of women's hockey. This is, I think the best way to describe this is a time of testing the waters, fighting challenges, fighting any sort of adversity, which Danny Ryland really successfully did. So, with that being said, this saw, players of Olympic stature such as Megan Dugan, off the top of my head, Hillary Knight, Brandon Decker, both of whom played with the Boston Pride, go back and forth to see what suited their needs best. So since then, Ryland has been committed to changes and significant strides as a result have been made. So in 2019-20, she raised the bar to the point where the highest paid player received $15,000. While stories of poor management have surfaced, Ryland has not only risen but exceeded beyond what many of the league's followers could have imagined. So, from establishing deals with premier sponsors like Dunkin' Donuts, Chipwich, and Twitch TV, Ryland has been the sole leader in growing her revenue and providing players a home. So, however, like all things, there's a time for life, there's a time for growth, and a time for death. So, looking to instill a vote of confidence, Tai Tuominen said on Monday to the New York Times, this is a time of opportunity and transformation for the NWHL, and the changes we are making across the league will fortify a foundation for continued success well into the future, she said again. So, that's a little bit of a transcript of the understanding that, Tuominen will look to rather carry the torch rather than start her own new narrative of what it means to play pro women's hockey. So, with evolution being the primary factor here, the league now flips the page with Tuominen, who, again, is handed the torch, assuming daily operations. She will do so with the NWHLPA as the two work together for the betterment of the game. So, as Bergman's report suggested, part of Tuominen's duties will entail attracting partnership deals with major brands. As it is across the United States, hockey is hard to come by, let alone to follow. And while women's hockey has long gone unrecognized, Tuominen will work to change that narrative with a broadcast rights deal. That to be said, while MSG and NESN, MSG in New York and NESN in New England have both displayed league highlights, the goal at hand is to be picked up by a major TV network. This, of course, after the deal with Twitch officially closes after their third season next year. So with the new model to be set in place on Tuesday, which it was this morning, John Wawrow of the Associated Press notes that the league's new business plan will be steered by the investor group, which has now been cut down to 6. So it's a board reconfigured by the league with the goal in mind of one assigned to each team. There will certainly be a period of adjustment that follows internally with these drastic changes. As mentioned by the Athletics' Haley Salvian from day one of founding the league, the goal was to have all teams under private owners. So with that, next measure now put into action. Salvian continues, it's been 5 years. 2 of the 6 teams, Boston and Toronto, have ownership groups. You could call it a slow burn down to 100% ownership, which is, the trend that Ryland has shifted herself into a new role to work further towards. So Salvian closes, but this shift should fast track things if executed right. And so that's why the NWHL decided to do this now rather than later. And so, to really close this all out while a new era of pro women's hockey begins, this next step will be critical as the league pushes for greater stability. So in a statement from Andy Scruto, one of 6 investors who remains on the board, he acknowledged Danny Ryland Kearney for advancing the league to several heights it has reached. So he said, we would like to thank Danny for her role in founding the league and bringing it to where it is today. Danny has made an enormous impact on women's hockey and led the NWHL from inception through its first 5 seasons, setting the stage for the next phase of growth. So touching on Tuminia's background, Scruto went on to say of the former 6 chairman, Tyler brings a wealth of relevant experience, and we are confident that she will help take the league to the next level. So with improvements paving the way for this decision, John Boynton said Tuesday on behalf of the board, for everyone who cares deeply about the NWHL and women's hockey, especially our incredible athletes and impassioned fans, this is a landmark day signaling the start of a new era of growth. It begins with governance and a new structure and will result in major steps forward for the league on the ice, in our arenas, and as a business. So when you look at the in-arena aspect of this, the CWHL had a history of playing in and out of local community arenas, but given that the NWHL is somewhat doing the same, you would expect that there will be a certain level of infrastructure raised and changed with this new leadership and new plan with the board and new faces such as Tyler Tuminia taking over the reins, to fill the very big shoes of Danny Ryland, who is, and I will quote some people this morning who said, the unsung hero behind the success women's hockey has had in the United States. So with her newest challenge set out before her, Ty Tuminia concluded with her sights set on the future. I look forward to collaborating with our partners in the NWHL and our expanding community of fans to create a special place that honors the rich talents of women's hockey. So, this was a very special time, and they really wanted to, make sure that they hit the mark right with this, and I think that they really did. This is going to see, some transparency come into play, more so than ever before, to make sure that, the fans continue to be engaged with the league, that the players continue to be comfortable and feel like there's growth and success happening, just among some other news and notes. Again, and this all, in the statement from Tuminia, it all helps to fortify a foundation for continued success well into the future. So, this is brand new, and this is going to be a test of time, and I think that season 6 is going to start that. I don't expect that Ty Tuminia is going to do anything perhaps major to significantly fill Ryland's shoes in such doing things that perhaps Ryland wouldn't have. I think that they're going to continue to work together, as well as with Anya Packer and the NWHLPA to do what is best for not only the league, but its players who are in the league as well. So, this was a really exciting morning. I spent all night writing about it. That way I could bring it to my viewers here on the NWHL Cooldown this morning on BarnBurner TV Network and Zingo TV Channel 250. So, in a statement from Ty Tuminia, the new NWHL commissioner, she told the icegarden.com, we are all incredibly optimistic about the league and the continued massive growth of the game for women and girls at all levels. This is a new era. So, perhaps there's going to be this new level of women's hockey discourse now in social media, given that there's been a unfortunate history of it, and that the PWPA and NWHL haven't exactly agreed with each other throughout. It's going to dialed down to what does this whole financial restructuring really pay out to do, and we're not going to know until the puck actually drops on season 6 and for those seasons in the foreseeable future. So with that being said, let's take a look further at some of the quotes that she gave to the Ice Garden. But before we do that, the league has previously said investors include Andy Scruto, Neil Leibman, Joel Lenoff, and Scott McCormack, among others. So there's some obvious changes. I don't know who is sticking around as for the board now consisting of 6, but Scruto and John Boynton are among those, and Joanna, John's wife, is the head of the ownership group for the Toronto Six. So, so much to unravel here. Wow. This is, and again, new era, on the hands of a game that continues to grow and evolve. This is new. This is, it's all going to be a test rather than anything else. So, Tumania told the Ice Garden via email, the overall objective is elevating all aspects of the NWHL: attendance, fan engagement, player resources, broadcast deals, operations, partnerships, and everything else. Together with the players, staff, and partners, and with our new governance model, we'll build long-term sustainability for women's professional hockey in North America. So, I already ran through, the previous ownerships in the Boston Pride and how that kind of set the tone for where we are today. And now the Toronto Six with an all-women ownership group. So I'm not going to bore you more with that. But the league also plans to expand into new markets with announcements forthcoming in the next weeks and months, as stated at the bottom of the press release. Danny Ryland took to Twitter last week before this announcement, saying, pick one US market, one Canadian market, and she really listened to the fans. She engaged with almost everyone who left a comment, and there were more than 200 to see where the NWHL expands to next. And suggestions have gone to show that Philadelphia could be really interesting. They've never had women's professional hockey before, and before the Dream Gap tour in Voorhees, New Jersey, they really hadn't seen any level of it. So that could be really interesting. Seattle and Quebec City were also noted, given that Montreal was in the running for the expansion team, but Toronto won it in the instatement of the Six. Anyways, so the release also states that they'll be actively shopping the remaining 4 teams. The full intent to have an entire franchise model, which, as Marissa Injimi writes to the Ice Garden, akin to the major 4 sports leagues in North America. So, Tumania goes on to say, conversations with prospective partners have already started. I don't want to telegraph what's ahead because that's counterproductive. But over the next year and beyond, you will see an increase in partnerships and sponsorship deals that are really meaningful to the advancement of the league. The NWHL will become an unincorporated association with the Board of Governors, which I already said. Now, just among those who we know confirming are staying on with this new restructured board, who will work with Ryland, Tumania, and NWHLPA, with others who have been unnamed having various levels of involvement. And again, I suppose in the coming weeks and months, we'll know more about that as well. So the league is using the same approach again as the National Hockey League, as every team is owned, as well as MLB and the NFL. And again, this is a new venture for some independent work, and it's something that the NWHL has talked about before, in addition to Ryland supposedly stepping back from her role as commissioner of the National Women's Hockey League. And in doing so, she said that because there's been talks of mergers in the past, and Ryland has remained strong and confident that there wouldn't be a huge impact, from whatever took place. However, in doing so, she also knew that it was better to pitch the idea, whether it was going to happen or not, of merging the NWHL and the PWHPA and officially forming the WNHL. So anyways, as we were told by a source last week here at BarnBurner TV Network, there was great possibility in such that that a WNHL could come together by next season, 2021. And so as a result of that, I did check around with some people close to the situation in some form or another. And a source told me that, that's probably not true and not exactly the case. And while the source hadn't heard of it, there were still some obvious questions to be raised. Anyways, that all to be said, it's unlikely that is the case, especially given that if you're someone who's been paying attention to the landscape of women's hockey and the climate that has only risen, heat-wise between the two intentions, it's unlikely. And, it all kind of boils down to the fact that Jana Hefford said it's not the direction that she wants to lead the PWHPA and her players in. Anyways, Danny Ryland Kearney is kind of guiding her own direction with her players, and in doing so, she's been successful bringing on U.S.-based partners, and helping to show players, that they can believe in another model, another product, another form of pro hockey in which you can actually not only play against other cities, but get paid, which is one of the biggest key aspects, because in the CWHL, before they were shut down just over a year ago, they were only getting what was called a modest stipend by the league, and it was only for a couple of years that had been the case. Anyways, so with all this to be said, and looking at this, restructuring, as it's been labeled, Tumia goes on to say, any major reset and restructuring brings opportunity. For the NWHL and our teams, it's time for transformation and innovation to look at new ways of presenting women's hockey and the awesome athletes and people who play the game. We are all incredibly optimistic about the league and continued massive growth of the game for women and girls at all levels. This is a new era, and a new era it is. So, this has been really enjoyable to follow, and best of luck to Ty Tuminia as she leaves Toronto to work on something that's going to see, not rather than just the success of one organization, and that being a brand new expansion team, the entire league, 6 teams. She'll work closely with the NWHL's front office, and there are so many moving parts that make that office work, that make this league work. So that includes their director of marketing, Ksenia Solomon, Chris Botta in public relations, just to name a few off the top of my head. So, there's a certain level of credit here that is owed to everyone who has worked hard this last week, since rather than put out the expansion tweet, to bring this, given that we knew an announcement was coming, but didn't know exactly what it was in regards to. But as it states at the bottom of the press release, in addition to updates on the upcoming season, which includes, ticket sales, fan capacity, among other things, it's also going to include expansion. And it's not just going to be the coming months, but the coming weeks. So we learn of where the NWHL has a long-lasting future next. Anyways, so we also learned a short time after that a former NWHL player has decided to hang up her skates. U.S. national team member Megan Dugan from Team USA, dubbed as Captain America, has retired after an illustrious career in the league. She is also known as one of the greatest hockey players of her generation. So she says in a statement via Twitter, "It has been one of the greatest honors of my life to represent Team USA on the world stage. Hockey has given me memories I will cherish forever. To my teammates, coaches, support staff, organizations, fans, the next generation of players, and especially my family, thank you." So to round this out from the Ice Garden, the article reads, "If you wanted to, you could try to sum up Dugan's career and its impact by counting up all the goals, assists, medals, awards, and championships she piled up in her career, but it wouldn't come close to giving you the whole picture. As impressive as her stats and collection of precious medals and trophies is, all of it hardly scratches the surface of who she is and what she has meant to the game." So Dugan is one of the greatest ambassadors of the women's hockey sport that anyone has ever known. When she attached her name and face to Team USA's #BeBold for Change boycott of the 2017 IHF Women's World Championships with which was held and took place in Plymouth, Michigan. This was because of an inequality of support and resources from USA Hockey, and the world took notice. Now, Hockey Canada didn't have this issue, or at least not that we know of to this degree. Anyways, that all to be said, while not so noticeable, or notable rather, Team USA's victory off the ice ahead of the tournament set the stage for an unforgettable gold medal victory on it. Anyways, 1 year later, Dugan contributed to Team USA's first Olympic gold medal win in 2 decades, which was a monumental moment for Dugan and for the U.S. national team. So the unparalleled victory, as the article goes on to say, secured her place in the pantheon of the greatest Americans to ever play the game. So in a statement from Katie Millian, director of women's national team programs for USA Hockey, she said, "The team you see today and the culture that exists within our program is a direct reflection of Megan's dedication and hard work. Megan's leadership wasn't just seen, it was felt by every single teammate. She embodied the values of Team USA on and off the ice and will greatly be missed." So, just in case you thought you got an idea of Dugan's lasting impacts on the NWHL, you haven't. There's a lot more, so let's get right into it. So, by everyone who followed her and followed the U.S. national program closely, she was known as a championship in every meaning of the word. Dugan won 3 national titles at the University of Wisconsin and won a Clarkson Cup in the CWHL and 7 gold medals in the double IHF World Championships over the course of her career, and won a gold medal in Pyeongchang, South Korea to top it all off. She was a dominant player in both the CWHL and NWHL, and has gone to work with the PWHPA since to create a viable professional league for women. Now, let's look at her collegiate career. So in doing so, Dugan, a 5'10" centerman, who was noted as unafraid of toil and tumult, was an offensive wrecking ball, rather. And this was known as she amassed 238 points in 159 games with the Wisconsin Badgers and made her debut with Team Canada in her freshman season, which is really impressive. Most people don't get there with the national team just like that. Anyways, in just her second World Championship in 2008, Dugan proved herself an elite talent playing against the best in the world. She scored 4 goals in 5 games to secure her first gold medal with Team USA. So needless to say, there would be plenty more, and sure there was, as Mike Murphy continues to write on. Over the course of her career, Dugan adapted her game to be a player who could play in various roles of the U.S. national team. And by the time the 2018 Olympics arrived, she was known as a superb defensive center and a nightmarish presence around the opposing goal crease, given the damage that she could do offensively. So, another factor that's important to look at, her character and conduct as a person made her just the second 2-time Olympic captain of Team USA. The first was Cami Granato. So Dugan's eventual place in the USA Hockey Hall of Fame is not up for debate. She's certainly someone who deserves her rightful place, and time will only tell to get there. So Hillary Knight was the face of women's hockey and the national team in this generation, but Dugan was its heart, as Murphy beautifully writes. Her excellence on and off the ice advanced the game and the program by leaps and bounds. There will be many other captains of Team USA, but for many, there will only ever be one Captain America. And that is Megan Dugan. So on behalf of BarnBurner TV Network and the PuckAuthority.com, for starters, a hearty congratulations on a wonderful career to Megan Dugan, who is widely celebrated for all her accomplishments. Best of luck in retirement. So she was also paid tribute to on NHL.com, and she said in a statement to Tracy Myers upon the decision, "I feel at peace in my decision. It was a gutting feeling," Dugan, 33 years old, said. "It was the right decision for myself and my family, and I'm someone who has lived a lot of my life and has played a lot of my career based on my heart and soul, how I feel and what's going on in my mind, and that's what led me to my decision right now. I'm incredibly happy with my career I've had right now, and right now my gut's telling me this is the end of the chapter for me. I'm looking forward to moving on to the next one." So she goes on to conclude, It's been one of the greatest honors of my life to represent my country on the world stage, and hockey has given me memories I will cherish for a lifetime. So let's take a look at her numbers. Dugan scored 78 points, which she did on 43 goals and 35 assists in 144 games for the U.S. national women's team. She did so from 2007 to 2018. She won a silver medal at the 2010 Vancouver Olympics and the 2014 Sochi Olympics in Russia. Dugan helped the U.S. to 7 first place finishes at the IIHF Women's World Championship. And this is 2008, 2009, 2011, 2013, 2015, 2016, and 2017 most recently. Anyways, that's also topped off by a second place finish in 2007. So in a statement from Pat Kellner, executive director of USA Hockey, he said, Megan has made an incredible impact on hockey in America. The success she helped our teams to over the course of her storied career is unprecedented, and it's great to have her continuing involvement as a member of our board of directors. We wish her the very best and thank her for the many contributions she's made to USA Hockey and our women's national team program. So, again, I said that she played the Wisconsin Badgers, and she did so for 4 years from 2006 to 2011. And as well, she is the third leading scorer in team history with 238 points. And this was done on 108 goals and 130 assists in 159 games behind Knight with 262 points. Anyways, behind Knight is Brandon Decker of the PWPA alongside Knight with 244 points. So again, I mentioned the success that she had in Division One hockey, guiding to the women's championships in 2007, 9, and 11. But Dugan's accomplishments go, frankly, beyond that. She won the Patty Kazmaier Award, given to the top female college hockey player in the United States, and in 2011. When she scored 61 points in 28 games, and this was done off 27 goals and 34 assists. So you have definitely left this game better than you entered it, U.S. teammate Kendall Coyne Schofield said. It's been an honor and a privilege to be your teammate. I've learned so much on what it takes to be a good leader. Obviously, you'll never be replaced, but it's truly been an honor to be your teammate. Anyways, what's really special as we start to round out this episode of the NWHL Cooldown on BarnBurner TV Network and Zingo TV Channel 250 is the fact that in addition to being on the board of directors for USA Hockey and their national women's program, Dugan is also working with the PWHPA alongside their board of directors to ensure a brighter future for the game. Liz Knox is now a consultant, and I assume that one of them that she's working with is Knox. And we know that on the board is Nora Ratty. We know on the board is Sarah Nurse, just to name a few. Anyways, so let's take a look now at her NWHL, CWHL experiences. So Dugan played 6 seasons of professional hockey, including 4 with the Boston Blades from 2011 to 2015. She won the Clarkson Cup in the Canadian Women's Hockey League in 2013 and 2015. She also won the Isabel Cup with the Buffalo Beauts in 2016 and the Boston Pride the next year in 2017. So, she's seen a lot of success in her time, and a lot of that is with thanks to her offensive abilities. Her impact isn't only as a player, it's as a coach, it's as a person. And when I say it's as a coach, I say it because this. She was assistant coach for the Clarkson University women's hockey team known as the Golden Knights from 2014 to 2016. And this is before stepping down from that role to concentrate on the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympic Games. Anyways, Katie Million from USA Hockey says, the team you see today and the culture that exists within our program is a direct reflection of Megan's dedication and hard work. Megan's leadership wasn't just seen, it was felt by every single teammate. She embodied the values of Team USA on and off the ice and will be greatly missed. Thank you, Megan, for your unwavering dedication and commitment to this team, as well as helping forge the way for the next generation. And honestly, having had the opportunity to watch Dugan play at the Pyeongchang Olympic Games, I extend my thanks for being a leader, being someone who people can look up to, for being a role model, and for all the success that you've endured. It's made a tremendous impact on the sport of women's hockey at the pro level, from the CWHL up to the NWHL. And, it's going to send a message to, the next great round of players, whether it be Jillian Dempsey, Kelly Fratkin on the Boston Pride, or for that matter, Kendall Coyne Schofield, Hillary Knight on the U.S. national team, that is something to live up to, because it's something that's felt a long way past just the team she played pro for, not via the national team. So, anyways, that being said, this was not a shocking decision. Again, Dugan is 33 years of age, but she is a leader. She is everything that one, again, can embody and picture in a role model. So, Dugan, after hearing current Team USA captain Kendall Coyne Schofield gushing over her and what she meant to her, visibly shook her head and grinned when Cameron Granado joined the webinar to speak next. And this was something that was tweeted out by Mike Murphy at Dig Deep BSB. He writes again for the Ice Garden. Granado briefly said, "I hope you know how much you've given to the program, because she really tremendously has. And that impact will be felt and forever remembered in the history of pro women's hockey." Anyways, that's about it. So as I start to, round out this episode, this is something that, again, will lead future generations, will lead an example, will lead everything that we know pro women's hockey to be in there, and what a pro women's hockey player looks like. And so, in the words of Kendall Coyne Schofield, you certainly have Megan Dugan left this game far better than you found it. So for that, you are a champion, you are a hero, and a huge debt of thanks. And for the work that you do with the national team and with the PWHPA now to help, prepare, former teammates and those who she's never played with to a WNHL model for whenever that should come along. So, she's been inspiring for not only teammates, for respective players, but for members of the media through her 14 years. And her success is, a landmark to everything as we know it. She also helped USA Hockey as well as women's hockey to get more equitable treatment for women and girls, as written by ESPN's Emily Kaplan. So, this is a proud moment, having seen all the success. And that's really, attributed to everything that she's pushed the boundaries of the sport to do. So that really does it for this episode of the NWHL Cooldown on BarnBurner TV Network and Zingo TV Channel 250. Like I said, it was a jam-packed show. There was a lot of info, a lot of stuff, rose this morning. I'm going to be back next week and talk a little bit more about the decision for Ryland to step down and Tumminia to take over, given that there are some controversial points and just general questions that have since hit the surface since last night when it was first reported that this was in the works. So, once there's a little bit more clarity, I'm going to be more than happy to do that. But I expect, as far as, news and notes with the league strive to go, an expansion note of some kind as to where their next location is and how soon that could be coming up. So, whether it's, again, Seattle, Quebec City, Wisconsin, wherever it is, this is the next step for the NWHL and pro women's hockey. NWHL Open Ice returned last night with Carly Jackson from the Buffalo Buttes and Taylor Woods from the Toronto Six on last night, and will be on a bi-weekly basis. So keep up to date with that as well. So that does it for me on this episode of NWHL Cooldown on BarnBurner TV Network and Zingo TV Channel 250. Make sure to follow BarnBurner Network on Twitter at BarnBurnerNet, and myself for further information on the league and the progressions that they're continuing to make at Justin Levine HBS, and at thepuckauthority.com, where I will have further developments and likely another column in the works with regards to how this reshapes the state of women's hockey. Anyways, that does it for me. Justin Levine from BarnBurner TV Network signing off.